hygiene, youth leadership, and development. Now we do this, we tackle this, we use policy, advocacy, training, capacity building, and grassroots youth engagement. Now we have 3 core values we stand by. These are: we act sustainably, we strive for excellence, and we demonstrate integrity. We have presence in Nigeria, in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt, and also across Africa, as I earlier said, in Togo, Kenya, Cameroon, and Ghana. Now, I know some of us might be wondering why the Sustainable Catch series, what exactly it is about. Actually, we initiated this platform because we realized that there was a need for action. You know, there was a gap. There was a gap between experts in sustainability and youths who necessarily do not have access to international resources. These people have ideas, but they don't know how to implement them in line with sustainability. So we said, okay, fine, we bring this platform, we bring experts, and we bring enthusiasts, and they discuss. You know, they learn, they unlearn, and they relearn what sustainability is actually about. Now today, in case we don't know, actually, this program is streamed online. It's on Facebook. If you want to communicate with us, you can talk to us via our mail. You can also talk to us, send us a message on social media. It's at ClimateRed on all platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And okay, for those of us who have questions, in the course of the discussion, you might have questions. Please, you just write them down. A paper will be sent to you. You write them down, and then our officials will pick them up. And for those of us online, if you have questions, please write them at the comment section of this feed. We would really love to hear from you and answer your questions also. So today we have actually somebody very phenomenal. You know, when I read her bio, I was even, I was challenged myself. She's a walking powerhouse, an experienced and passionate peace-building practitioner with over 6 years in peace building and sustainable issues. Now she's the founder of Galaxy for Peace, which a foundation that has particular focus on young people through mentoring and capacity building. Now her long-term goals is to institutionalize peace education in Nigerian school curriculums. So it's safe to say she's a peace person. We are going to have a peacemaker today. And she's in the person of Ms. Precious Ajunwa, and she's going to be talking on building inclusive, sustainable cities and communities. Please, let's welcome her. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for accepting our invite. Thank you for coming.
That's all we do.
I told them you're a peace person, so we are looking forward to peace today.
Absolutely.
Okay, could you tell us about yourself? Tell us about Precious Ajunwa. Tell us about Galaxy for Peace. We want to hear.
Okay, so Galaxy for Peace is a non-profit organization and championing sustainable peace SDG goal number 16, which is peace, justice, and strong institutions. And we are driven by the fact that what Mahatma Gandhi said, that if you want to have real peace in the world, you must begin with the children by catching them young. And if you take a look at Nigerian school curriculum, you see that we do not have peace education as a subject. There could be elements of it in civic education and stuff like that, but we do not have peace education as a subject itself. And we so much believe that if we catch these young people at early stage, it helps us in achieving sustainable development in the near future. So we teach them peace education in school, which through teach peace early, and we adopt schools over a period of time. So we teach them peace education, tolerance, handling style, conflict resolution handling style, because conflict will definitely happen. But let's not forget that let's build a culture of resolving it and not sweeping it under the carpet. So that's basically what we do at Galaxy for Peace. With other projects we also run, but that is the primary. Yeah.
That's actually beautiful, because when I was in school, I wasn't taught peace. I was just taught my normal school curriculums, and it would be very beautiful to see kids that are groomed peacefully. We know we have conflicts, but when you resolve them peacefully, they tend to have better outcomes.
Yeah, they have.
Okay, so this leads me to my next question. you talked about peace and introducing it to the school curriculums. But linking peace to sustainable development, I do know that the end product of sustainable development is peace, actually. If all the 17 goals are met, the world will be a peaceful place. We will have conflicts, but we will solve them peacefully. Do you understand? So my question now is, how would you introduce the concept of building inclusive, sustainable cities and communities to a typical Nigerian? How will you do that?
Okay, first of all, you need to understand that these are strategies, like they are deliberate strategies which we mapped out to identify. You first of all identify a gap in the society. Then you build up a steps, strategies that you need to actualize that particular goal. So there are efforts which we need to put in place to really achieve some certain goals in our society. And when we are talking about sustainability, let's not forget the fact that we need to carry everyone along if we really want it to be sustainable. So for instance, we are talking about peace education, and I'm using peace education as an instance. Let's say we're talking about, okay, promoting peace in our society. If we've identified the gap that, okay, if we catch them young, that's a very good stage. But how about the government? Are we carrying the government along? And when I mean government, I mean holding the duty bearers, which are the government in question, like the ministries of education, the schools itself. They really need to understand. So when we're talking about sustainable and inclusive society, everyone needs to be on board. So for us to achieve a climate safe environment, everyone needs to be carried along. We don't have to focus on only young people, but if we are also calling on young people to get involved, we also hold governments responsible to account for their own duties in the society. So through that means whatever goal we are trying to achieve, sustainable society means that we need to carry everyone. Sustainable inclusive society means that we need to carry everyone along in achieving that particular goal.
Yeah, you're very right. I like two things you said. You said it's a deliberate action. So this means you don't just fall on sustainability. It doesn't just happen. You have to deliberately act towards it. And you also said we need to hold the duty bearers. It's actually a thing, because people that are responsible, they need to be accountable. You mentioned the schools, the Ministry of Education and the curriculum.
Yes,
we need to hold them, to let them know that we teach these people sustainability also. Okay, why don't you tell me, using a practical example, can you make reference to a Nigerian specific case study that was successful?
Okay, I would say the issue of Ibadan Metropolitan Planning Corporation, and that started actually in 1993. And I've come back to when we're talking about sustainable cities and what it actually means. So that actually started in 1993, and I could remember from what I read then. I think I was in secondary school, as like early years in my secondary school, about to enter secondary school or some sort of that. So in that 1993 that they started, I actually started that. They first of all identified, okay, now if we really want to have build sustainable communities, urban developed communities, we really need to first of all do what is called environmental profiling. And when it started in Ibadan, after the environmental profiling in 1994, the next thing they did was to do city consultation, which everyone was on board. So that particular project, I feel it was a project that it's a project that was emulated, and not only did it end that, it was also taken to northern part of Nigeria and the eastern part of Nigeria, and that was Kano, to be precise, in 1996 rather, and Enugu, to be precise, in 1996. So through that particular, although they did a joint consultation, I'm talking about that for Enugu and that for Kano, they did the joint consultation to really assess how can we really build an urbanized society. The feedback they got from there was quite impressive. So I could say that's one of the it's a success story.
Okay, that's very good to know. Okay, so for those of us just joining us online, this is the Sustainability Couch series, the first episode ever. You're welcome. You've not missed much, but you've missed some important points. We are with Ms. Precious Ajunwa, and she's talking on building inclusive, sustainable cities and communities. Precious, you said Ibadan metropolitan planning and population. I like that you mentioned that because we know that planning is difficult when there is more population. Actually, if I'm planning for 2-3 people, it's easier if I'm planning for 1 million people. So I need you to tell us now, what is the nexus of population growth with sustainable cities?
See, that's an interesting question, I must say. Just like you mentioned, when you are planning, for instance, I want to cook in the house, and I know I have 3 people I need to feed. I'll measure the number of people, what the consumption of what they want to take and what I need to cook, going by that. And if, for instance, someone walk in, not only one person, let's say 2-3 more people walk in, you agree with me that definitely the measure I have used, I need to re-strategize and the rest of that. So when it comes to population affects our planning. So and when we are planning things, when more people are getting it, more people are giving birth and the rest of that, we need to consider that generally, we need to consider our population growth into our planning for sustainable and inclusive society. So if we are planning, okay, now we need to build more healthcare in this healthcare facility in our community. Let's not forget that more people have given birth, and we need to put that in focus and consider that into planning. So basically, as population are coming up, our population growth is going up, you need to put that into and re-strategize and go back to the drawing board and see where you need to address again. Okay. Actually, the issue of population in Nigeria is actually a very interesting one. A couple of weeks ago, we had the Population Matters to celebrate World Population Day, and the statistics is scary, quite alarming.
Very scary.
Yes,
and the moderator said what the statistics she gave us was based on what she saw on Wednesday, and that we should check. That day was on a Saturday. She said we should check that it has changed, it has increased, and we did. It had increased. There was a statistic that I think 30,000 or so are born every day.
Yeah, that's true.
If we are increasing,
as we are talking, yes.
If we are increasing by 30,000 every day, which means tomorrow now we'll have 30,000 more people. And then this is the same X. Okay, I've forgotten his name, but he said something. He said the size of the X is not changing. It's not going bigger, but the size of the people is increasing. It's just like this room we are in now. We are 30 now. If we become 50, it will become more crowded. And we become 100, it will be worse. So we'll have negative effect on the infrastructure, and that is what is happening to the planet. So population is actually a thing we should check. And in Nigeria, a very beautiful case scenario where we are not, okay, how do I put this? Okay, let me not put it at all. So let's know where we are going from there. Okay, so, but the good thing is that there are sustainable frameworks that the international bodies have given us that we can work with. That is one of them I want to talk to you about now. The new urban agenda that embodies, exactly, that embodies building sustainable cities with adequate housing as well to improve the standard of living for people. Is it the solution to achieve goal level? What do you think?
I think it is actually, if not more than. Okay. Yes, it is. And why I said so is that if you look at that particular agenda, it raised out structures. It has principles, and it has action plan. And if you take a look at the principles, everyone is included in the principles. Yes, into achieving that. So I would say that the new urban agenda is actually a tool that we can adopt, yes, to achieve SDG goal number 11.
And it will work.
Yes. Yeah, definitely, it will.
I'm going to ask you later why we have not adopted it yet, but that's not for now. But for those of us,
that brings us back into holding the duty bearers responsible.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
that brings us back into there. We need to, definitely, that we need to. And one thing we should have at the back of our mind is that it's not one thing I always tell anyone in government is that don't really see it as a personal attack.
Okay.
You don't have to see it. When people are holding you accountable or holding you, you need to give us account of how far, what have you done. You don't really need to see it as a personal attack. They are fighting for the future. And also I tell young people who are trying as much as possible to hold people accountable is to do it in a respectful manner.
Exactly. Not harass people because they have feelings too.
Exactly. They are humans.
There's actually a green light because financial sectors now are adopting sustainable reporting. So now if you want to go and get a loan from the bank for a business and it's not sustainable, it's going to be harder than before. So for those who don't know, let me just put this. The new, the NUA, that's the New Urban Agenda, was adopted in 2016. It is a 24-page action-oriented document that provides a roadmap for sustainable urban development in our cities for the next 20 years. So I don't know if Nigeria has adopted it yet, but I said I will ask you later. So just to remind us, if you have questions, please write them down. A paper will be passed across. You write them down and then our officials will pick them. And if you're online and you have questions, please write them at the comment sections and we will get to them. So Precious, coming back to you. The NUA has 3 guidelines. It has 3 guiding principles as well as several key components that would enable successful transformation of our cities. Can you tell us about them?
Okay, one of the first principles, which I so much love and I so much find it interesting, and I believe that if we really take that into action, it helps a lot for us to achieve almost all the SDGs, is that we should leave no one behind. Yes, so if we are to really achieve sustainable cities, sustainable inclusive cities, we need to leave no one behind, and we need to leave no one behind in ending poverty. So in the sense that let's not be selfish in trying to actualize only for our own gain. So we need to carry, if we really want our country to move out of the developing country to a better level, if we want our economy to improve, we really need to carry everyone along. We need to leave no one behind. If we need to leave no one behind in providing access to education, better education, not only better education, also make it affordable for everyone in the society. And that is what inclusive is all about. Also, a better healthcare system, also better job in our opportunities. Thank you. Yeah, in our country. So that particular principle, it's that's the #1 principle. So it's something I really find interesting. So also the second principle, I can remember I said that it should, sorry, I'm coming, say ensure sustainable and inclusive urban economies by leveraging the benefits of well-planned urbanization. You know, when we have the well-planned urbanization, we provide job opportunities for people. Yes, we have more people who we give job opportunities for. Then we also create environment where our societies, our communities, our cities are more beautiful. Not only beautiful, the issue of a carbon monoxide would also be a thing of the past, would be eradicated if we follow that particular principle. And the third principle is talking about that we need to ensure sustainability by providing clean energy and sustainable use of land resources and urban development, by protecting our ecosystem and biodiversity. So I feel that that particular principle, if we take a look at those 3 principles, and if we really adopt them and follow them, just like I said, is that follow them by mapping out our own strategy, because what is obtainable in a different African country might be different, and what is obtainable in Lagos State is different from what will be obtainable in Abuja and in any other state. So we need to, if we follow these principles and map out strategies to really see that they are workable, and not only workable, we should also not only workable but also see that we sustain them, because not only working for this particular time frame, but the thing is that can people coming behind us also adopt this over time?
I think the concept is localization. That's thinking globally and acting locally. Yes. So we take the guidelines given and then we make them our own, modify them to ours,
and tell our own story.
Exactly. So you mentioned leaving no one behind, and that's the truth, because it means if I'm being sustainable in my country or in my state, You have to be sustainable. The next country has to be sustainable. All of us have to be sustainable together. So this leads me to my next question. How can we involve local and regional authorities to drive the successful implementation of the new urban agenda at all levels of government? Let me explain something. Most times we see this problem as the federal government's problem. Most times when your road is bad in your streets, you say it is the federal government. And we forget that there are levels to government. There's
Absolutely.
the local government, there's the state government, there's the federal.
ICCDI.
Exactly. So currently it's only the federal government that actually knows about sustainability. It's only them that's actually talking about sustainability. But our local governments and the regional governments aren't saying anything. So how can we involve them? How can we involve them in the successful implementation of the NUA at all levels of government?
The first step I would say is enlightenment. We don't have to, we have a lot of non-profit organizations who are doing amazing things. And it's so sad to say that at times most non-profits focus international level. Yeah, I'm not saying we shouldn't look at the international level. I'm not saying we shouldn't aim higher. But have we looked at our left, right, front, and center where you're sitting? Are they neat? Is it neat? Your environment, is it clean? That kind of, so I think charity begins at home. So we need to start enlightening our LCDAs so that they will understand what sustainability is all about, what the SDGs are all about. Then from the LCDAs, we hold the local government, councillors. Yeah, we have the councillors in the, we have the councillors in the wards. Hold them, let's hold them, let them understand that they have some jobs to do. Even if let's say the flow of money is coming, it's not multiplied in the local level, it comes directly from the top. But by the time they know, they understand that this is what they need to do, this is their responsibility. I think it gives us a better opportunity to really actualize sustainable, inclusive society. So let's begin by doing a lot of advocacy. I'm not talking about like online advocacy. We're not talking about social media advocacy.
Wow.
We are talking about at the grassroots. Do programs, do advocacy at the grassroots, like actions. Bring them on board. Call for a meeting, a town hall meeting. Let everyone come on board. First of all, tell them this is what is happening. And this is, if we want to really achieve a better society, this is what we need to do in this our own small community to start with. So if we enlighten them and let them know of their responsibility, it's at that point which will take me to the next thing, and that is collaboration. Nobody can do it all alone. I can't I can't like call for adoption of peace education in Nigeria all alone through Galaxy for Peace. No. We need people on board. We need people to come, and how can they come on board? It's through collaboration. It's through partnership. It's through synergy. What are you bringing on board? What are you bringing? We have one goal to meet. You bring this, I bring this, then that's the. So that leads into collaboration and partnership. And after that, now let's take it back to accountability now. Do you understand? Let's go back to accountability. That's another thing. So we have to start holding them accountable, because you don't just start holding them accountable without enlightening them. I can't call you and say, Debbie, where is my phone? When you did not know that I put my phone in your handbag. You're not aware that I put my phone in your handbag. So there is no way, if that phone got missing, that I will hold you accountable that you are the one. So we first of all enlighten, which takes us to collaboration, bringing everyone on board, then which takes us back to holding them accountable. I think through that particular mean, and holding them accountable, after holding them accountable, we need to go back, assessment. Assessment is very, very important. Okay, what did we do well? Were we able to capture everyone that we need to capture on board? Which one worked well? Which of the program worked well? Which one didn't work well? And why didn't it work well? How do we re-strategize? And let's not forget, it's all about taking deliberate action. So how do we re-strategize? Okay, I think we need to do it this way. We need to do it. So I think through that particular avenue, we'll be able to take that.
Yeah, thank you very much. In case we did not notice, there was a subtle call to action. Before you start talking about your president and your state governor, do you know your councillor? I know if I take a vote now and be like, you know the councillor of your ward. I'm actually a victim too. We should also reach out to our councillor. I think they can even, it's more direct. They will understand, and then before we then go ahead to start saying, okay, the state government and then the federal government and so on and so forth. So thank you very much for that. Actually, we are almost at the end of our discussion. If you have questions, please signal to the officials. They will give you a paper and then you write your questions. Once again, if you're online, thank you for joining us. If you have questions, please note them at the comment section of this live feed. So finally, actually, thank you for your time. Finally, to what extent, let us know, to what extent has Nigeria implemented the NUA and has it yielded desired results?
You know, as a development person, we are always an Oliver Twist. We always call for more. And although if you take a look at it in other way around, we would say we're not proud of how far we've gone with that particular that. But having said that, I would add that everyone needs to be on board for us to really achieve that. So let me just leave that. Let me just leave it at that, Deborah.
But I actually, personally, I am optimistic about the present government we're having. I really am. I see big things happening, you know, both state-wise and federal
level.
So well, hopefully, do we have any?
And also, we have more young people, vibrant more young people.
Yes, I think the UN was just talking about including youths in decision-making and policy.
Exactly.
If that pulls through, it will also work.
Yeah, definitely.
Which means we also have to teach our youths. You know, it's the same thing, teach the kids, they become youth, so that when they get there and they're able to draft policy,
yes,
they'll know what they're drafting.
Exactly. That's why I love the project you do, SDG for universities.
Exactly.
Because I don't know if you've taken, I don't know, I do this a lot. I meet any of my young niece or nephew who I've not seen in a very long while. I say, so do you know about SDG goals? Like, what? And I was like, so you don't know about SDG? That's an assignment I'm giving you. So through that through SDG for universities,
yes,
it's like a call to action for young persons, for them to get involved, enlighten them. Okay, this is what is on board. Because I could remember that some people, if you say MDG, they'll say, what is MDG? Because if you're talking about SDGs, you first of all start with MDGs, that's how we go. Why some people who knows about SDGs do not know anything about MDGs? Yeah, so with that particular project, so getting more young people on board, because I think more young people is a new currency.
It's a new currency.
Yes, I think, more young people is a new currency for us to really achieve sustainable, inclusive society. If we have more young people who really know what they are doing, who are really more passionate about achieving that particular goal, definitely we make headway.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing it up. Not to toot our own horn, but let me just say a little about the SDG for universities. We wanted to take the Sustainable Development Goal concept, we wanted to take it to the universities. We know that before we start changing the curriculum and then doing all that, it take a little while. Yes. So we said, let's go to the universities, let's go and talk to them. And same thing, this platform also, we said there are youths that already know about sustainability and sustainable development. They have ideas, but they don't know how to implement it. Let's give them a platform also, so that just like leaving no one behind. When we cover this ground little by little, when you look at the big picture, we've done a lot.
We have a beautiful picture.
Exactly. So thank you very much, Precious, for coming on. Thank you for discussing with us. Thank you for giving your... So to the audience, if you have questions, we'll be taking them now. If you've written your questions online, we will also be taking them. Let's see. No, you write them down now. So while our officials are picking up the questions, okay, we are still having people write questions down. Also, we are also taking contributions. We will take 3 contributions. Exactly. So if you have contributions, that will be verbal. You know, you are allowed to express yourself.
Absolutely.
I can't read it when you write it. Please, somebody's checking online. Okay. Okay. We'll quickly do that. And while we are doing that, I'll just go over some key points our guests made today. She mentioned that sustainability is a deliberate action. Once again, you don't fall on sustainability. It doesn't happen by chance. America will not be sustainable and Nigeria is automatically sustainable. We have to be deliberately sustainable, each of us. You look at your surrounding, you implement the sustainable lifestyle first of all, then you preach it. You do what you preach what you do. You don't just preach and then you do otherwise. And then she also said we should hold the duty bearers accountable. Now, this is not to go to Aso Rock and start lining up and hold Buhari accountable. It's not to go to Twitter and start shouting. Hold your councillors. We have local governments, we have wards, we have councillors. So you talk to them, you hold town hall meetings. You can even start from your estate. You have estate association. Nigeria is a blessed place of so many associations. So you have estate association, you talk to them. When you start, it's the truth. We have so many associations, and I wonder what do we discuss?
That's true.
Every occupation has an association. There's association of car holders. Very soon there will be of Toyota car holders. So your associations, you talk. What are we talking about? Then you scale it up to the ward, and then you go to the local government, and you'll be making headway. But if you start holistically as an individual, you won't do as much. So we hold the duty bearers accountable, and then we leave no one behind. You tell your friends, you tell your aged mom, you tell your nephews, your nieces, tell everybody. It should become a song. Sustainability is the new currency, because if we keep exploiting and exploiting, in the next 30 years, we will not have anything to exploit again, and we can't eat money. After you finish making your raw cash, you can't eat it. So
that's true.
We should talk about sustainability so that it will build a culture within us. Okay, I think I've gone through. Okay, she said enlightenment. Enlightenment, I've said that. Collaboration. Our founder used to say something. He used to say, think collaboration, not competition. You know, when I own an organization and I come and I'm like, okay, I want to do this. Let's do this together. It shouldn't be like a competition. At all. We are working together to save the planet. A common goal. Nobody's fighting anybody. Do we understand? So collaboration, enlightenment, then accountability. When you are enlightened and you've come together to work, you can be held accountable. Exactly. Then we assess your result. I think this is really, really simple steps that we take into notice would really, really help. Okay, so many questions. All right, so we are going to take the first question from Mr. Tonye. He's asking, he said, what approach do you think is better to push Nigeria to adopt and drive the new urban agenda in Nigeria? What approach is better, bottom to top or top to bottom?
Oh, definitely. It's from bottom to top. We need to start from, I think that captures what I said, that we need to start from identify your LCDAs. Do you understand? Identify your LCDAs, your counselors. So definitely bottom to top approach is it's always better.
Okay. So if I could make a little contribution, bottom to top is better. But let me just go a little. Okay. Only bottom to top might not do it. You know, currently the federal government have the sustainability department and the rest. If they are taking a top to bottom approach, it's fine. But while we are taking a bottom to top approach, then we meet at the middle. It's a far efficient distance. But as an individual, you can't go top to bottom.
Yeah, I think we was asking.
Nobody will listen to you. You go to all the states and go top to bottom. You go bottom to top, you know, from grassroots, your friends, your environment, your lifestyle.
Yeah.
While the government is doing top to bottom.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's true.
So I am Mr. Tonye. Your question is answered. Are you?
I want the other part. Have we adopted it yet? I wanted to find out. I don't have that information. In Nigeria.
Okay. If we've adopted the new urban.
Yes.
So who drives the agency?
We have UN Habitat. We have UN Habitat, so they are responsible for driving here.
Well, how about within partner, let's say with the Ministry of Environment or Urban Planning or
it's an inclusive thing, like everyone is being, there is representation of every agency, and you know, it's more or less like an interlinked agency, different agencies. So they are in the third stage actually. It's on the third stage now. You know, when it comes to inclusive sustainability for urbanization, it takes a very long time. It is time tasking. So after the environmental profiling and the consultation and to really get into the grassroots to see how it's workable, they are on the third stage now.
Thank you.
Okay, so our second question, there is no name on this, but I'll read what he is asking. He said over 50% of population in developing countries are in the cities, with the ever-growing rural-urban migration. How can we match up with the finite resources?
I think the best way to do that is for us to make everywhere, be it urban, be it rural, habitable. Okay. If, for instance, my community, like my village where I come from, we have regular light supply. Do you understand? We have regular light supply. Why should I leave the village and come to? Yeah. So if we have good water, and the water is accessible, we have good healthcare facilities, which is very, very important. I don't see any reason why someone will be sick. They will be lifting the person from the village to city. So I think it's trying, if we have the resources and make everywhere habitable, let's drive down primary health care centers in our communities. Let's have more primary health, not only having the structure there. Let it be a structure that is really meeting the needs of the people in the community. Let it be a structure that you walk in there, you see medical personnel, a structure that drugs that is accessible there. Then also the issue of water. Okay, I've talked about the issue of water. So the issue of electricity, which is very, very important. Most people, you see more companies coming in there if they know that this particular village they have regular light supply. Because when you're talking about building our economies, the most what do you call it? Our businesses, they run on light, and light is quite money tasking consumption. So if I have free light at this particular place, why will I come to city where my company is running on generator or running on whatsoever? So making everywhere, regardless of be it city or urban, or converting everywhere to habitable place.
So what you're saying is we should centralize industrialization.
Yes, exactly.
Because the resources in an area would definitely be finite if it is catering for more than it's supposed to. So if the migration is constant, we don't look for more resource. We just fix why migration is happening. So if we centralize industrialization and everybody is comfortable, nobody would live anywhere. So I don't know who this is, but I hope your question is answered. Okay, so we have contributions. If you have okay, we have one more question. Please. Thank you. So this is Mr. Demudia. He's asking, he said, what do you know of the Lagos rent-to-own housing policy? Is it still functional?
I don't really know much about that particular one, but I know I've heard someone talk about that. It's not, according to what the person was saying, it worked well for him, but it wasn't, it so happened that I think he was trying to connect another person to make use of that particular, but I think there were challenges, issues. So what I know is that, what I feel is that most times, you know, when things come on board or when a policy is being, most people do not know about it, and also there are challenges towards actualizing that, because you know this is more or less like a connecting there. This is like both individuals and owns houses and the government itself. So they feel like, no, I have the right to decide on what I want to put on my yeah.
Okay. So
I just something else into like a question. Is there economic or business opportunity in your urban agenda for private sector? Let's say something, if I get involved, I'm going to make profits. Well, the way the waste management space is, I can set up and become a player like a PSB, for example. Is there any such thing for
the new urban agenda? I can't categorically say there is something, but I can't really pinpoint. But consider the fact that one of the principles is that we need to leave no one behind, regardless of the different level. Do you understand? So I think there should be, but it's something I think I will give a second thought here to take a look at. Thank you for that question.
Thank you very much. So, okay, we'll be taking contributions now. Anyone with contributions? Okay, we have one person. We are looking at 3 contributions. Okay, if you've made your comments online, they will be duly noted. If you've asked your questions also, they would have been duly noted by now. Okay, so let's listen to. Okay, so we don't have questions online. Thank you very much. Let's listen to the gentleman with his contribution.
Thank you. Asham Hayati, representing Center for Global Solutions and Sustainable Development. There was a good interaction with you as regards peace within the center to the actualization of the SDGs. Obviously, by our concentration is the corporate organization and businesses at large, because we know 13% of them are the major contributor to climate change in the world. And so I would talk about development and sustainable development as a two-way street. I mean, looking at, the question I was asked earlier, should it be approached top, bottom, or bottom up? I think it's a two-way street. If we wait for the government to take the first step, we might just wait too long. And if we don't act from our own end, then we might be putting ourselves in serious danger. So when we take the first step, the government will see it, and we have to massively take that first step. And when we do, the government will see it and then walk the other way. Then we meet in the middle. At that point where we meet, that is when sustainable development is actually. And I would also like to say that we shouldn't leave out the religious bodies. They are very, very key to the implementation and success of sustainable development. A quick research was done in America, and it discovered that religious bodies topped in rank. Those, in the sensitization and education of climate change and sustainable development. They preach it. You disrupting the process of the environment, or you disrupting the biodiversity, is more like you are committing an environmental sin. And that is the way it's portrayed. So there's a way religion speaks to the mind of individuals. Because if we sit down and talk and do a lot of conferences, we all just get motivated for the moment, and then we leave out. It doesn't transcend into change of behavior. So if we have the religious organizations in different capacity to collaborate with us, partner with us, don't let us see them as mere religious bodies. They are key, because majority of them are in the top 100 most influential in the world. And so now imagine a single, say for instance, pastor speaks in the church, how many people are going to follow? And that is how much we need to engage these people. He worked with the taxing policy in Lagos State. And I think he can work with sustainable development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have one more contribution. If you still have contribution, we have one more. So now we'll take from Mr. Idebuja.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay. I just I've got a mission this way to promote housing policy. So I just said a bit now. Because first let me just raise up this issue. I didn't mention about programs with Climate Wednesday. So earlier this month, we hosted a guest on on our program, Climate Wednesday. And the topic for that day was a new urban agenda, which we're discussing now. So while going through the discussion, she talked about one of the policies of Lagos State, tackling this housing issue. It's a major issue about this going to institution, going to own housing policy. So it's under the umbrella administration. So the policy is in such a way that okay, it's for people aspiring to own a house but don't have the full finance. So you pay 5% commitment fee. So the remaining 95% is spread by a period of 10 years. So once you complete it, you become a house owner. So as of last year, the years and increased about 150 house owners, increasing the total number of house owners to 650. So though now the umbrella administration and there, so we're now the new administration. So it's, to me, it's like a viable scheme. It's present an opportunity for people to own the house, hence solving the house deficit issues in Lagos. So I don't know what this administration, what plans it has for negotiations, for people aspiring to own their own. So I believe it should, in our own different issues, it should, more like we can hold the state governments to commit to issues, viable issues like this in solving housing units, housing problem, housing deficit in Lagos. So all these administrations engage the present administration, hold them to accountability, okay, making them to be aware of okay, this is solving this issue. I think to go a long way now, different field. I know what different players here. So we'll go in this part of our objectives, asking the present administration if they are trying to continue with this housing policy or they want to bring a new one. Then they should let us know. Yeah, thank you.
So we have our final communication. From Mr. Chalobi.
I just want to add, you mentioned the housing policy. It's one area I'm really interested in. I'm meeting out part of I told the last meeting about this particular issue. Now, it all boils down to the collaboration, but we have to build, and for these housing issues, we have to bring in the private developers. And speaking from the angle of environmental regulation, if you check the Lekki axis now, there's a lot of dredging going on and something. People think it's just the waste that is causing the drainage and all of that. When they dredge and just fill that whole area, the water now, they must find where it runs. And that's really a very big issue. So we need to find a way our advocacy to get the developers involved in this also. Yeah, so that the environmental regulation part, flooding and those other issues can also be incorporated and addressed together.
Thank you, Mr. Chalobi. He mentioned the sand filling. Actually, it's not a big issue, it's a current issue. In your free time, you can check Adeniji at the Lay Estates. The Ilubiri filling is currently affecting them, and as I know, they are currently in court with the government. There are also other communities like that sand filling and dredging is really affecting them. So it's not only waste pollution that is causing flooding, it's also sand filling. This brings us to the end of our session for today. I want to personally, and how do I put this? Supremely thank our guest for today, Mrs. Precious. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing with us. To our physical guests, thank you for also coming. It was a really engaging session for those of us who contributed. For those of us who did not contribute, I don't know what to say. Then those of us,
you know, most times people just go sit down and listen and understand.
I hope you understand, not just listen. I'm looking at somebody currently. For those of us online, thank you for tuning in. We do this once every month. We would have another section next month, and we would also prompt you when that will come up. Okay, I've said thank you to everybody. Thank you to myself also for coming and being awesome. Yeah. So we'll see you next month and we'll prompt the date. Thank you very much, everybody.